Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Collecting Profit. This is episode number 57 of the podcast. So, wouldn't it be fitting we would bring on a Pittsburgh based guest for episode 57, like Heinz 57, even though those Jagoffs, the Crafts bottom. But yeah, shout out to the guys over here at the Pittsburgh Card Show for being our guests again tonight. This is your guys' third appearance now on the show, so thank you again for coming on. Genuinely appreciate it.
Well, hey, third time's a charm. Maybe we'll get it right this time.
Yeah. Hey, just keep trying, man. Never give up, right? Definitely want to give a shout out to my co-host Michael over at Huddle Card Collection. For those of you guys that haven't followed him yet, you're definitely missing out. He puts out a lot of good videos throughout the week. He does a rip and ship every single week. He's actually during our normal show time tomorrow doing a rip and ship. So anybody wants to get any cards at a good value, go over to Huddle Card Collection and pick them up. Michael, anything else besides the rip and ship going on this week?
I mean, you have the Pittsburgh Card Show down here. They have a card show also that I'm probably going to go to. Maybe I get some content from that. Cultural Collision. Nice. And Saturday night we have the big Royal Rumble. Not has anything to do with cards, but we are wrestling people, so we do have the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. So looking forward to seeing that and everything, and just trying to line up as many guests as possible, man. Trying to line up as many people coming on the show.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Yeah, wish you a lot of luck down there. Hopefully you'll find some really nice connections.
So I'm trying. That's what the main thing is going to be, to try and do.
If nothing else, you need to get in that celebrity basketball game, man.
Yeah, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, dude, I'd last like a second. I'd be on the sideline with ice packs. But let's get into the reason we're here tonight. I really want to reintroduce Mark and Bryce. If you guys haven't been familiar with these guys yet, they run, in my opinion, the best card show in all of the Pittsburgh area. It's not even close. There's a lot of great shows in the area too, so that's not putting down any of the other promoters. These guys have just, in my opinion, taken it a step far and above kind of what we had in the area. There might have been maybe one bigger show in the area per year. And then that was mainly vintage, and what I feel like you guys have done is you've brought a more consistent big show to the area that has a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? I've recently got into Lorcana. You guys even got a Lorcana guy there. Last time I set up, I turned around. I didn't really have to leave the booth to get my fix. It was awesome. But yeah, I mean, what you guys are doing for the hobby in Pittsburgh is incredible. Between the giveaways and just all of the other stuff that you guys do, the different connections that you've brought in, whether it's Nash cards for group submissions to PSA, or for example, this time you guys are going to have a great showroom. Are you able to share anything about what that is? I know just from seeing different videos on YouTube, he is a content creator. What exactly is his showroom going to entail? And what kind of details can you guys share on that?
The Great Sports Card Showroom is a part of the show inside the bigger show that's going to have 120 dealer and vendor tables in this one specific room. And there'll be dealers from all over the country set up in the room. Anthony, you mentioned there will be a lot of gaming there, a lot of Pokemon, Lorcana, some Magic the Gathering, a lot of Funko Pops, things like that. But this is just one room in the show that's going to have 120 tables. And that's part of the big show, which right now stands at over 400 tables, with a lot of national dealers, a lot of local dealers. I believe we hit 18 or 19 states today as we added Massachusetts to the list.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's impressive too, just for, in my opinion, a local card show here in Pittsburgh. Because I've been collecting forever, you know what I mean? Since the very early 90s, me and my buddy Marty have been collecting, and never in the history of Pittsburgh card shows can I remember ever like 18 different states being represented at one show. That's like insane. Normally, if like I were to see that represented, I would have to go to like Allen, Texas, to the Dallas Card Show, or to the National, or to, name any number of bigger regional shows. So I think that that's super impressive. And in my opinion, that kind of puts you guys in kind of elite category when it comes to promoting card shows, to have that many different states coming to be a part of what you do on a semi-regular basis.
Well, we are actually working really hard at that, Anthony and Michael. Once again, hey, just want to say thank you for having us on the show and everything. We appreciate, the opportunity to, tell everyone a little bit about our little show that we got going on out there in Washington, PA. We just try and really raise the bar. We want to do stuff that other people are not doing. And hopefully that helps other people, raise their bar as well, and just make it a better card collecting community out there for both the dealers and the collectors out there. That's all.
Absolutely. And I think you guys do a wonderful job at that. Real quick, I'm going to say what's up to a few people in the chat. We got Lockin as usual. Good to see you, brother. Big shout out to Dom in the house. Always appreciate you here, man, and looking forward to some great questions as usual. Got my guy Bill in the house. What is going on, brother? Another great local Pittsburgh vendor. Big shout out to Bill. He always has fire too. If you ever catch up one of his booths, he's one of the guys I like to plunder his boxes. Get Alan in the house. Good to see you, my man. Always a honor and a privilege to have you here and contribute to the show, my friend. Baseball fan, good to see you, brother. Steve, good to see you, man. You're going to be putting videos up on the channel, Steve. That'd be awesome to see, man. Big John's in the house. Good to see you, my man. Always a pleasure and an honor to see you. Callie Lewis, good to see you, my man. Got Maddie in the house. Good to see you, my man. And I think we're caught up. Sorry about that, guys. I don't like to leave the chat feeling left out. If you guys have any questions for the Pittsburgh Card Show, guys, make sure you put them in the chat, because we always like to make sure that your questions are in play whenever we have guests on. And the awesome thing too is these guys are really approachable too. Like, they're not, just because they run a card show, it's not like they're high and mighty. Like, they're like the type of guys where like, hey, call me if you have any kind of questions about X, Y, and Z. You might want to hold off call Mark at like 4 a.m. in the morning or obscene hours, but
I appreciate that. My wife appreciates that also.
These guys legitimately make themselves available to anybody that has questions, concerns, anything leading up to the show, after the show, or whatnot. So again, they do put their information on all of the flyers. The next show is February 3rd and 4th. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is going to be the first 2-day event that you guys have put on thus far.
That is correct, Anthony. Everything we ran last year was 1-day shows. We did the March 25th show, June 17th, and October 14th. And what's interesting about what we did with the 1-day shows is the collectors, the main complaint they had was there was not enough time in 1 day to see the entire show, which is actually probably a good thing. So that certainly gave us the idea to go to 2 days. And the dealers, they were so busy actually selling and behind their tables at the show, they couldn't leave to see what everybody else had. So again, 2 days certainly helps that. For everybody to look around and see what's there, and you can take your time looking at stuff instead of trying to rush through.
For sure. Definitely. And I think the nice thing about your show being a 2-day show, as opposed to like some of the other smaller local shows, is you typically get a lot of people coming through. You know what I mean? So I would imagine offering a second day, you're going to get even more people coming through. So if you say like, and I'm sure you probably can't give like specific numbers, but say if, you get 3,000 in 1 day, across 2 days, you're probably going to see at least double that, and probably even some repeat attenders, once they see how awesome it really is, and if anyone's been to a bigger show like a Dallas show or a national, or even if you've been to one of the Pittsburgh shows, that sometimes there's so many people there, it's jam packed. It's hard to really get a good feel of what every vendor has. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm a big bargain box guy, and if there's like a swarm of people around a table, sometimes I'll just kind of bounce around that table and go to the next. And then sometimes I forget, hey, did I go to this table? Or sometimes I'm like, man, this show was awesome. I wish there was a second day so I could actually focus more on bargain boxes this day, or trying to trade this day, or XYZ. So I think that's really cool that you guys are offering a second day and growing what you've already started.
The square footage at Washington Crown Center allows us to really spread everything out and not only give the dealers plenty of room for their setups and behind them, but to give the collectors plenty of room to walk through, be able to get to the tables, talk to the dealers and the vendors. And one thing I'll say about our show, not that you don't get this at a lot of other shows, but the action at our shows with the buying, the selling, and the trading is just nonstop. From the time everybody rolls in the morning until the last guy packs up, it really is one of the best shows for buying, selling, and trading, just the activity. I guess my point is a lot of the dealers are not museum-type dealers, which you get at a lot of shows. They've got great stuff. The stuff's beautiful, but they want, insane pricing. I think most dealers realize if you're going to set up in the Pittsburgh area, you better be priced to sell. And it's very, very competitive, whether it's sealed product, vintage, modern, graded, high-end, low-end. Anthony, from being around a lot of the local shows, the dime boxes in the Pittsburgh area are $1 and $2 boxes in a lot of other areas. So the buying is great, but so is the selling and the trading. A lot of activity, even collectors and collectors trading with each other, because there's plenty of space and room for guys to sit down and do that as well.
Yeah, and that's something I really enjoy too. I've never seen other shows and I've been to a lot of bigger shows, but your guys' show is like one of the ones that's super unique in the sense that I have more people at your shows ask, hey, are you buying, than most other shows. So it's almost like, you guys have it like set up to where like people come in, they're like, hey, I can bring stuff with me to offload to some of these dealers so that they can sell. So I think that's super cool because, myself and Chef, we love being able to go there and pick up stuff. And because when you're actually the vendor, it makes it a lot harder to actually go around and see the vendor. So actually having people bring you stuff that they're going to sell to you at a discount because you are a vendor is super nice.
Yeah, we do a lot of advertising with our show and everything. And one of the things that we do advertise are that our vendors are buying. That's a real big part of the show. People need money going into the show. They might need money for, whatever they got going on in life. And they may just want to upgrade. They have, 4 PSA 9 cards and they want a nice PSA 10 or something. They might be able to trade, sell, or upgrade at the show. And that's another whole part of the show. And there's a lot of, buying and selling at the show. There's a lot of trading at the show as well. And, the way the economy has been in certain areas and everything, that's just another whole aspect. There's a little bit more trading that goes on at some other shows and everything. But the buying at this show is incredible. If people, want to bring in some stuff in, definitely bring your cases, bring whatever you got to do, and come on out to the show.
Definitely. It's going to be an awesome time. I can say from experience, like a lot of these vendors are eager to buy stuff. And you can always swing by the Picksburgh booth because me and Marty will personally look at your stuff if you have it. And I know Mark's always eager to buy stuff too. So you can always swing by it if he's set up in a booth.
I don't ever buy at shows, Anthony. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess you're just my hidden honey hole where I can bring all of my good stuff to.
I don't know what. Again, I deny all.
But seriously, though, I mean, it's a really good. it's a good place to bring stuff to sell, but it's also a great place to, like Mark said, come and buy. Everything from like 10-cent boxes, like being as good there as like dollar boxes in some other places, which is true. That's why like I love going to the shows, because I'm a dollar box guy. Like I'm a dollar boxaholic. So like anytime I can find value to where I can buy a card for 10 cents and sell it on eBay for like $2, like that's like a 20 up. Like I'll do that all day long. You know what I mean? Like, and the nice thing about now having a scanner and stuff like that is it gives me the ability to be able to go through a 10-cent box and potentially be able to make money, and having value from all the way at 10 cent, all the way up to, like absolute banger cards is just like really nice. Real quick, John had a question. He said, how do you guys normally handle security and safety at the show? I was going to be a smart aleck and say that like Mark regulates, but is there anything specific for anybody that might be interested in starting their own or maybe does run a show? Is there anything specific, like logistically, you guys have to do?
Number one, there's our team, the PittsburghCardShow.com team. So obviously we are, throughout that show all day long, talking to the dealers, talking to the collectors, making sure everyone's doing well, seeing if anybody needs anything. We have a pretty extensive team. Some shows there's, 5 or 6 of us. Other shows there's 9 or 10 of us. But it starts right there with the team you can assemble for the show. As far as security, the mall that we run at, Washington Crown Center, does have a full security staff that is there, round the clock, nonstop, taking shifts, of course. So there's coverage there. And then we take other measures as far as private security coming in, plain clothes, to keep an eye on everything, because, safety is a big deal and problems do arise at shows. And we want to make sure that anything that were to happen at a show, we can get taken care of quickly and ASAP. Also, at this particular location, the state police is a mile away. The local police is a mile away. So, knock on wood, there's been no issues to date, but certainly anything should happen. We can get coverage there very quickly from the local authorities and the state police.
Not to mention Mark regulates and your big bully Busick, or not Busick, big bully Ray.
Ray.
So no one tries you.
I am a card dealer, not a fighter.
Touche.
And I just want to add, Anthony and Michael, I actually just got off the phone earlier today with one of the squadron leaders at the state police station that is right by the facilities, and we work hand in hand with them and some other off-duty people as well. So, we have some behind-the-scenes stuff going as well. We don't want to fully publicize everything that we do in that aspect, but, know that, coming in, that it's a safe facility, that, there are people there. The facility has their own security there as well. And we take other measures as well, including our staff, to put on a great show and make sure everything is safe and sound and secure.
And this show is a family-friendly show. It's a great facility that has a lot of shops there. Some new eateries have just opened. So you can bring the wife, the girlfriend, mom, grandma, little sister, and they can go shopping while the boys or whoever likes collecting is checking out the show. And I guess what makes the show really unique too, there's no show this size anywhere in the country that gives free admission, free parking. And, we're encouraging everyone to come out to the show. We're not going to try and hit you for $5 at the door, $10 at the door, or some crazy number, 20, 25, $30 admission. Free admission, free parking. And from the dealer's point of view, show this size, we have by far and away the cheapest tables in the country. Again, we want the dealers to come in and keep their overhead low so they can do well, keep their prices low, sell a bunch, buy a bunch, because it truly is a card show. We do have autograph guests at the shows. We have WWE Hall of Famer Coco Beware coming into this show, which will be really cool. Coco, one of the legends from the WWE in the 80s and early 90s. But the autograph guests are a compliment to the show. We don't bring in autograph guests that are going to overtake the show or take money out of the show. It is a card show for buying, selling, and trading between the collectors and the dealers, and the collectors and the collectors, and the dealers and the dealers. And a lot of these other shows, they're more autograph heavy versus actual card show buying, selling, and trading.
So I wanted to ask a question. You mentioned it before about the great room. So for someone who's not familiar, what is that?
The great room, we have Logan Harris, who is an amazing dealer out of the Columbus area, Columbus, Ohio. His company is called Great Sports Cards. We have a separate room here at the show within our 400 table show. We have a show in a show. A lot of people go to a 50 or 60 table show or 80 or 100 table show. In this room alone, there's 120, 125 tables. That is like a little mini show within the big, brighter scope of the show of the 400 plus tables that we have at the event. Great Sports Cards, Logan, he'll be there buying all day. Great gentleman. He'll be there with his dad. Super nice people, and can't say enough about him. He's definitely a great asset to the card community. And if you get a chance to check out his YouTube channel and everything, it's Great Sports Cards. He has some great quality stuff out there, and definitely stop by, say hello to Logan at the show. Just a super nice guy and one of the fairest people you'll ever deal with when selling cards as well. And that's, not only with Logan, but all of our dealers. We try and make sure our dealers are, pretty good quality dealers that we have there. And Logan is just a really fair and super nice guy, and, treats people really fair. And that's the best that you can ask for a dealer. Plus, he has some really great stuff.
I'm sure. I've seen some of his videos, like with some clips and stuff that he's had at some of these shows. He has a good eye for some stuff that he's getting at, which actually, like, I was wondering, is his showroom going to be niched to any one thing, or is it going to be like a true show within its show where it's going to kind of represent all different genres and categories of like card collectible?
It'll be a complete variety. Yeah, you'll see everything in that. You'll have vintage in there, high-end slabs, low-end slabs, modern, cheap boxes. There'll be gaming in there. No, it would be a true show of that 120, 125 table level. But again, it's just a small portion of our overall show, which this is our biggest one to date with 400 tables.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Real quick before we move on, I want to answer Luis's question here. He asked if I was going to be at the Burbank show in February. Unfortunately, I won't be, just because I won't be in town at that time. I'm going to actually be in California this whole next week, but I'll be back in Pittsburgh by then, because I got to be around for these guys, man. Like, these guys, just like Bill says here, like, literally best show in Pittsburgh, hands down, like, ever.
And Luis, say hi to the card father for us from all the guys here in Pittsburgh. Great guy. Burbank Sports Cards, by far probably the best card store in the country. I'm sure, Anthony, you've been out there many times.
Like, I adopted that as my like home LCS while I was in California, and like me and Marty would go there like multiple times a week. It's just like it's like Disneyland if you're a card collector. And then the great thing is Disneyland is like semi-close, so you can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that show actually is was it February 15th and the 18th, and that's Ontario, California. So definitely if you're out there, stop at one of the best shows in the country as well. Burbank Sports Cards, great guys out there, and Card Father, keep it going, buddy.
Card Father's awesome, man. Like, I was actually surprised, like, just by watching him on Instagram all the time, going into his shop, how, like, nice of a guy he is to, like, literally everybody that walks in the door. He, like, makes you feel super welcome. Like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. You know what I mean? Because he has a huge personality, like, on IG. And then, like, when you actually meet the guy, he's super humble. He's super kind. And, like, I like
very
to see
approachable. Very approachable.
have that kind of, like, spirit to him, like, do really well. You know? So it's cool to see what they've built out there.
Absolutely. Got a great place out there. And if you're ever in the area, stop out, say hello.
For sure.
It's a great shop.
So Dave says, guessing the hot buy next week will be Mason Rudolph rookie cards. I actually been selling a ton of his rookie cards on eBay just since he kind of had this run. They've just been kind of in like a binder rotting for the last 3 years. So finally they're starting to move. But yeah, I would imagine if anybody does have high-end Mason Rudolph stuff, this would be the time to try to move them. And Pittsburgh's definitely the market for them right now. What's up, Chad? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Rocky? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you being here as well.
I like what you said before, Bryce, what you said about the museum thing, and you're right. I remember, going to the Nationals and stuff, and there was so many tables that really were, for the larger community that was there, were just like an ooh and ah type table, and then move on to something else because you can't afford what they have there. I mean, a lot, there were people that could, but not in the range, that I am in, and where that first when we went with Anthony, we were all like, oh my gosh, look at this, oh my gosh, look at that. There was a lot of oh my gosh moments, but I noticed that a lot of those oh my gosh moments, if you walked by that table the next day, it was still there. So I like the idea that, it's a show that, you can go to a table and you're not going to, you're going to, you're going to have all different levels, but you're not going to be overwhelmed at every single turn of the event. You're
Michael,
going to find something for you.
Over the last few years, I think that's been a problem at a lot of shows, smaller shows, big shows, just guys, they like showing off their stuff and they got a lot of great stuff and that's awesome, but they're not necessarily there to sell it or turn it and move it into something else, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if, we want people at our show that actually, you can put out whatever you want and sell whatever you want. But the idea is to sell stuff and buy stuff and keep that turn going. There's a lot of shows you mentioned. You look at a guy's table and go back a year later, he still has the same stuff out there.
Right.
So, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, for the collectors out there and the dealers and vendors and resellers that want to buy, you don't want to go to a show, walk through it. There's been a lot of shows I've paid an admission for, 10, 15, 20 bucks. And I walk the show, I check everybody out, and I leave, and I spent more to get in than I did at the show.
Yeah.
And that's not good for anybody. So, you need guys, even with, I'll tell you a big thing with our show too. Supplies are a big thing. People don't like ordering supplies online. It's kind of a pain, shipping. And a lot of shows you go to, you can't even find supplies. Our show, we have several supply dealers. We've got Brett Seeger, who owns Shells. He's actually the owner of the company. He sets up with his product line. We have Jeremy Jenkins from 740 Sports Cards in Ohio. He's one of the biggest BCW distributors. So everything the BCW carries, he has at the show. We have several other guys who bring in Cardboard Gold and Ultra Pro. So it's nice to know that you can go to a show. And again, these guys, their prices are spectacular. You get cases of top loads for under $80.
I was just telling my girlfriend, I picked up some of these top loaders last show I was at for literally $2 a pack.
Yes.
It's like insane. And that's literally for one pack. Like, in order for me to get that normally, I have to order cases of like, what was it, like 10,000?
Yeah.
So like, and this is just going and buying one of like 20.
It's nice to go to a show and actually find A, the supplies you need, and B, get them at a great price that, quite frankly, is cheaper than buying them online. That's the whole idea of the show, right?
Correct. Absolutely. So yeah, you guys definitely have some great supply connections. I'll definitely say that. Because I typically we'll load up every single time you guys have a show. Got to
So do
find this
we.
fun, man.
So do we.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Chad had a question here. He was asking if I'll be there Saturday and Sunday for the show. So the way that our booth's going to work for this show on the 3rd and the 4th, I'm going to be running the booth on the 3rd. Marty's going to be running the booth on the 4th. So we're going to alternate inventory both days too. So that way, each day of the show, you guys are going to have fresh inventory at the Picksburgh booth, and you're going to have somebody new there that is a possibility to buy something off of you too. So Marty will definitely man it on Sunday. I'll man it on Saturday, and then we'll kind of just alternate.
Yeah, Marty never buys at shows either, Anthony. Just one.
Yeah, Marty hates buying cards. If you guys have ever seen any of my videos, he never buys, rips, or does any of those things. So.
He is a machine.
He definitely is. He's the biggest degenerate I've ever met in person. I know there's probably a bigger one out there. I just have yet to meet them in person. But yeah, it'll be a good time. Definitely come by. There'll be a Picksburgh pop-up banner, so it'll be an easy way to find where our booth is. But yeah, we'll have some pretty nice stuff out. I have some new stuff that I haven't even listed yet that I've been saving just for the show. So come on out and check it out. Speaking of which, special things that are happening for the show. What's going on with these $10,000 giveaways? And I said jokingly in the back, but how do I get me one of them loaded influencer ones? But just kidding about that part. But seriously, hey, what's up with the giveaways, man? Like that's a huge amount of money that like how do you enter? Like how do you be eligible? And from my understanding, it's both days there's a $10,000 giveaway or $10,000 in giveaways. How is that going to work?
The total is 10,000. We're going to give away 5,000 each day. And we gave away a ton of giveaways at our shows in 2023 as well. Right in the middle of the show is the card show kiosk. You can't miss it. Signs are everywhere. You just come to the card show kiosk, sign up for free of charge. We'll throw it in the big bin there. And on Saturday and Sunday at noon, 1, 2, and 3, we will draw, my gosh, probably close to 100 winners each day. The real fun part is going to be the shopping sprees. So we're giving away a couple of $250 shopping sprees each day. And then the big one's the $500 shopping spree. So if you win that, you're going to walk around the show and buy whatever you want and spend that money. One of our representatives will be with you paying the bill. So we're excited to give away those. We did the golden ticket $500 one in October, and there was a lot of buzz and excitement about that. So we might as well multiply it in 2024. Some of the other prizes we're giving away, we have Quantum Sports coming in from Florida, and they make amazing cases for your cards. So similar to like what Zion does with cases, Quantum's one of their competitors. These guys do a great job. They have everything under the sun with cases. We're going to be giving away a bunch of cases from Quantum Sports. We've got a bunch of graded cards we're giving away. We got some really nice raw cards we're giving away. A ton of autographed memorabilia, autographed baseballs, autographed mini helmets, autographed jerseys. It is just a fun. The card show kiosk will have display cases full of just what we're giving away each day at noon, 1, 2, and 3. And it's free to sign up.
The crazy part is that this is a free show to get into. Away this amount of giveaways.
Anthony and Michael, I like the word free. Mark does not, but I like the word free.
If it's free, it's for me. You know what I mean? Sign me up for that. Shout out to my guy Steve Splenda for being in the house, and shout out to you guys because I actually got connected with them at one of your shows. So
that's great.
Appreciate you being here, Steve, as always, my man.
Steve and Rob will be at our show February 3rd and 4th. They will be there.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have some pretty nice stuff set up.
They always do.
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I haven't heard about any giveaways this weekend at Culture Club. What kind of crap is this? Why aren't they giving shit away? This has to be more throughout the industry here, this kind of stuff.
Michael, I think when we've gone through the pandemic now, 3-4 years, a lot of people had a lot of money, and a lot of money came into this industry, this business. And, one thing about Mark and I, we are in this for the hobby of it, for the collectors and the dealers. you got to have all these things working to make the show work. And the last thing you can be is lazy and greedy. And unfortunately, there's just a lot of shows that will try and milk all the money they can out of the collectors and dealers. And that's not what we do, man. That is not the business formula. And I think, doing things for free is important. I think giving things away is important. It's just an appreciation and a thank you to all of the people that are attending that, hey, we appreciate it. You're the reason we can do this. So here's our way of giving back. And we try and do that every show we do. I think we do it at every show we set up too. I've seen Mark give away more cards at a lot of shows than he sells. So, it's just that kind of, we enjoy what we do. It's both of our livelihoods and our living. And I think when you can enjoy what you do for a living and you can pass it along as well, I mean, it's really an awesome feeling to be able to, give and, celebrate what you do and enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, and for those people, listening. So I was looking, like I said, here in Atlanta, we have Culture Collision coming up. So I was looking at tickets and stuff, and you have to pay for parking, and just a plain old ticket is $15 a day. They don't even, and it's 3 days. It's not even like they have a, hey, for 3 days for regular access, buy something, we'll give you something. But I mean, like, they're VIP, and I don't know how many tables there are. I didn't look, but I doubt they have. I don't know if they have near what you guys are having, but their VIP is $150 a person.
Wow.
And they say they give you a VIP bag. But what is there going to be? $8 worth of shit in it? You know what I mean? Think about it. So I mean, from that standpoint, if you're in the area and stuff like that, like you said, that massive of a show. I mean, there are free shows here that are by me, but they may be 40 tables, 60 tables, like you guys were saying. That's usually the norm.
That's the norm. Even in Pittsburgh before these guys, that was the norm. Like maybe even a 30 table, show would have been the norm. You guys have literally changed that, which is super cool. Real quick before we go on, I got to give a quick shout out to Alan. Thank you so much, man, for the super chat. He says, Collecting Profit Podcast, Mike Anthony, fantastic podcast. You guys are awesome. Genuinely appreciate that, man. I'm going to run off the super chat video real quick.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, the good old days.
Wow.
Can we get that guy back, please?
Memories.
The good old days.
Thank you so much, Alan. I genuinely appreciate it, man. If you do make it out to the Pittsburgh show anytime, man, we got to find you a nice Bryce Harper card. Dave, yes, I will be streaming live. Actually, I meant to ask you guys, is it possible to put me somewhere near a power supply?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Not a problem.
We can make that happen, Anthony.
Cool. My man.
But thanks for letting us know ahead of time.
We will definitely be streaming, and I'll try to get you guys as much footage from the show as possible. And if the lady fella comes, which I'm trying to reel her into coming to the show and being in town for that, then I'll be able to take the phone around and actually show you guys like the craziness that actually is a Pittsburgh show. So I feel like most of the times you guys see my booth and like how hectic that is, but like you never get to see like the mob of humanity. Like I think it might have been one of the first shows you guys did, like Jab's family did a video of it, and like there's this like B-roll of just like what the hallway looked like, and it literally looked like a scene out of like the original what was the zombie movie in the Monroeville Mall, where just like so many people just piled on top of each other. It just like reminded me of that in the mall, and it was just like amazing, you know what I mean? Just, and then to think that it was all those people there to buy sports cards or collectibles or stuff like that, where literally just like months or a year before this, like there was not anything for all of these people to come and gather for like this magnitude of a show. So again, kudos to you guys because it's just amazing. Like the extra work you even put into promoting. Like I can't tell you how many times I see a promotion for Pittsburgh Card Show just on Instagram, Facebook. Like it doesn't matter which group it is or where it is. Like you guys are literally everywhere. Or if I'm at a show, I could be like near Columbus in Ohio, West Virginia. There's flyers for your guys' shows, like literally everywhere. So, you guys have definitely put in the work for it to be such a, smashing success. And definitely kudos to you guys. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go because this is the first 2-day show. Man, like, where do you guys like? Where do you envision seeing it go from here? Like, because obviously last year you guys were just really getting started and getting your feet under you. So now you guys are kind of growing kind of what you're doing. Where do you guys want to take this to?
The White House.
That would be amazing. Joe Biden be like, where am I? How did all these cards get here?
We got to do the thing, man. We got to do the thing.
We just want to keep making the shows bigger and better. We want to keep the collectors, give them a reason to keep coming to the shows, give the dealers a reason to keep coming to the shows. And we've got some other shows, Anthony, that we're running in between our big shows. Like we have the Castle Shannon Fire Department show that we started in December. We're going to run that several times this year. A nice little smaller show, 100 tables. But again, a nice variety of dealers and everything to come in. We had a lot of fun in December at that show. You were there. So so we want to run some smaller shows too in between the bigger ones. But there's really nothing we're not looking at. We're looking at other states. We're looking at bigger venues. We would like this to keep growing to the point where, nothing's going to overtake the national. But I think if you keep building it right and doing the right things and taking care of everybody along the way, I think it will keep growing organically. And it's a lot of fun to think that, maybe we get to a 450 table show, a 500 table show, 600 table. We find some bigger venues. Maybe we can do 800 to 1,000 tables. It's a lot more work, but we're used to it at this point.
Question for you. This just randomly popped in my head, but have you guys ever thought of franchising what you're doing with the Pittsburgh Card Show to like say there's a guy, in New Mexico, like I'm just pulling a state out my rear end, but like there's not a flourishing hobby scene there. And there's a guy in New Mexico that wants to, that's inspired by seeing what you guys have done. Have you ever thought of like franchising kind of like what you do? Because you basically have all of the meat and potatoes and the intellectual property and how to build a successful show to where I'm sure you could pretty much go anywhere in the world and do what you're doing in Pittsburgh. Have you ever thought about, growing beyond just what you're doing in Pittsburgh to kind of having different branches of what you guys do?
What do you think, Mark? Where are we going next?
No, I said it before, but we're not going to go there. The whole thing really is the hard work that we put in and our staff puts in and the marketing and everything. Oh boy,
I volunteer to help with that one, Mark.
Absolutely.
That's a little bit of a distance.
Absolutely. But Sydney, gotta love it.
Oh,
see the koala bear and everything as a logo.
He says in Florida. That'd be awesome.
There's a lot of stuff that we could do and everything, but you just got to grow within yourself and make sure that you can keep it within what you can do, and you don't want to grow too fast, but then again you do X amount of work and everything, and our staff is unbelievable. They do a lot of work, a lot of marketing, and this next 10 days going up to the show, that you're going to see stuff everywhere. So the onslaught will begin. Come on out, check us out, Washington Crown Center, February 3rd and 4th. Going back to the giveaways and the prizes and everything, one of the things that I forgot to even mention, We're going to be giving away a Mario Lemieux rookie card every hour on the hour, both days.
That's insane.
And we got this guy running around on a scooter.
That's like a grill in Pittsburgh, man.
We're going to put a little prize patrol with him and be giving out multiple prizes all throughout the days on both days of the show as well.
That's just like, that's literally a grill card in Pittsburgh that you guys are giving away every single hour. Like, for me growing up, like that was like one of the cards I always wanted as a kid, you know, like to where I grew up as an adult. I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy that card now. So it's just cool. Like, cause there's so many people like in Pittsburgh, whether they're my age or even younger, it's like Lemieux owns the Penguins. Like he's the reason they even stayed here and didn't go to Kansas City. They'd be out there playing with Patrick Mahomes at the game if it wasn't for Mario Lemieux stepping in and saving the Pens. So that's super cool, man. Like, that's awesome. Chad had a question here for you guys. He has a friend at work who wants to sell some cards. Wants to know what's the earliest he can get into the show.
Saturday, you can get in anytime after 8 a.m. Sunday, the same. So obviously, dealers got to get in there Saturday, get set up and everything. But we'll have guys in there at 8:30 ready to buy and look, and it'll just get busier from there. The show hours are 10 to 5, but there'll definitely be guys there earlier.
For sure. I'll be there early, too. Even if I'm not set it up, I'll still look at what he has. But, yeah, I mean, feel free to swing on by. There's tons of people that would be willing to buy, especially early on, whenever they can get it out in their case before people start coming in. That's like the perfect time to buy. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people in the chat that have a lot of different locations. They'd love to see a show like this. And just from experience, like growing up in Pittsburgh, like there literally has never been a show like this. So to have something that I can look forward to like this on a regular basis, that I can know I can go and set up as a vendor, that I'm going to make good money, that I can go as just, you know, a collector, and I know I'm going to get the cards that I want for my PC, but then I'm going to be able to get all the stuff that I need to be able to fully keep my eBay store running and stuff like that too. So it's really, really nice from a lot of different perspectives, you know, to have that.
So let me ask, so a serious question about this, you know, other areas type things. Are there unwritten rules about trying to go to another area and establish a show?
I wouldn't say there's unwritten rules, but going back to what Anthony had asked, one thing that Mark and I have done since day one, obviously we set up at a lot of shows, so we know a lot of the promoters. But in running our shows, we have reached out to dozens and dozens of other promoters at other shows. We've reached out to promoters in Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia, and offered them to come to our show, promote their show, advertise their show, network with other dealers, because I think it's real important that shows actually work with other shows to make them better. That's the whole point, to make things better. And a lot of shows don't necessarily do that. They don't want other shows being advertised at their shows. We work very, very hard. So we not only want everyone to succeed at our shows, but it makes the hobby and the business better when other shows are doing well. And, you know, we get out to as many shows as we can to promote our show. And I think it's real important that we, you know, try and help a lot of other promoters as well come in and help promote their show at our show. And there will be several at our show in February on the 3rd and 4th. But again, we've reached out to a ton. And I realize when they're promoting other shows, you know, scheduling is hard and everything. Right. I wouldn't say, Michael, there's an unwritten rule, but there's no way we would go to Dallas and try and run a show. They already have a great show. We wouldn't go out to Burbank, California and run a show because they already have a great show. Mm-hmm. So I think when you're looking at locations, you're trying to find a location that has an area that has a lot of collectors, maybe a lot of stores in the area. Maybe they have a lot of flea markets like in Florida. I mean, there's card vendors at the flea markets like crazy down there. Yeah. So you want to find areas that are craving a show or a convention, but don't have anything in close proximity. So there is a lot of work that goes into trying to find a good location. And then once you nail down, hey, we're going to go here, now you've got to find a location for the venue. Is it the right size? Does it have enough parking? All the details that go into it from there. So I wouldn't say there's unwritten rules, but we're certainly not going to go into an area where there's already other good shows in and around the area.
Gotcha.
To that point, what have you guys, or what do you feel like you've done, if you're able to share, or if you want to share, that you feel is different than like what's been done in the area already, that's kind of set you guys apart to make a lot more people kind of get behind your shows, whether they're vendors coming from all of these different states, or it's just like a horde of people attending these shows? Like, what do you guys feel like you've done differently that's really just impacted the rapid growth of your show compared to what we've normally seen in the Pittsburgh market?
I'd love to grab this one, Bryce.
It's all you, Mark. I knew it was coming.
Basically, a lot of people that have done shows previously and still are doing shows and everything, they've laid the groundwork for, a lot of people coming in and, that want to do a show, that type of deal. And there are guys that have been out there. We got the effing show king, Joe Shedlock,
Yeah, shout out to Joe.
He's a mentor. Without Joe Shedlock, Bryce or myself would not be doing this right now.
How many years has Joe been running shows for? Like, I remember him running shows for like as long as I can remember going to shows.
He's celebrating 17, going on 18 years at Westmoreland Mall.
That's insane.
So, yeah, he's been running shows going on 18 years. And he had a store in Greensburg going back to, I want to say, 97, 98. So, Joe's been a fixture in and around this area going on almost 30 years.
Yeah, he really has been.
And
for a while, I think he's been the only consistent. Like, I mean, now there's a lot more shows since like the pandemic boom. But for a while, like I remember anytime there was a card show in Pittsburgh, it was mainly one of Joe's shows. So
he was a staple. He basically kept everything going in the Pittsburgh area. And surrounding communities. Without Joe Shedlock, I'd hate to see what the card community would be like in the Pittsburgh area. If you want to look back in the past 10, 15 years. I mean, the guy, I'm not going to go deep into it, but Joe is one of the best guys out there, period. And I've learned a lot from him. I'm sure Bryce has. And, it's just one of the pure greatest people out there. But moving on with the question and everything, it's just a lot of hard work, relentless advertising. How much money do you want to make at a show? We put in and we have X amount of dollars, that type of thing, in an advertising budget. Well, we took our advertising budget and said, forget about that. Scattered that.
We went about 5 times over.
Exactly. And, sometimes you got to spend more to make more, that type of thing. But right now, it's about the card community. It's about developing a brand, getting the name out there, building up the shows. All the shows have been building in size, in dealers. It's just creating that buzz. I was at a show in Ohio several weeks ago, and people were talking about our show or, that type of deal. And that's one of the biggest compliments in the world right there, walking into another show and people talking about your show at that show.
Awesome.
You put in the work. It's all about the advertising. You have to be, we are relentless when it comes to advertising, just for the sole fact that, you're as good as your next show.
Yeah.
We could look back at, our first show and all the highlights of that and everything. That's ancient history. We move on and we got to keep on making the shows better. After every show, I'm going to call the dealers. What did you like about the show? That's great. But what can we do to improve the show? And I talk to collectors, I talk to dealers and everything. We always want to improve, and there's always room for improvement. And, there's always another great idea out there. We're talking to collectors. We're doing a lot of the giveaways and that type of stuff, and the golden ticket out there. Some people might be giving away, some stuff. This just past week, and we saw a couple other card shows giving away a little bit more items and everything.
They had never given away anything before at those shows.
But that's
so having that influence is awesome.
That's great for the collectors, and it just makes it better, a better experience for all card shows out there to do. So, we just want to just try and keep on improving, and, like the prize patrol, just something, as little as that, but you're going around and, hey, you're wearing a jersey, we're going to give you a prize. Or, we're going to go up, we might ask you a trivia question, answer it right, we're going to give you a prize. Who knows what's going to happen? You got to be at the show to see what happens.
Hey, who in the Pittsburgh area doesn't, man? He's like, Mark's like that dude or that company that like sends out those political, like, hey, have you remembered to vote yet message around the presidential debate. But I'll tell you what, like, you're never going to miss an advertisement for the Pittsburgh Card Show, which is awesome, because literally if I open up my Facebook right now and just look at my phone, if I scroll down like 3 things, I'm going to eventually see something for the Pittsburgh Card Show. If I go on Instagram and I scroll like 5, 6 things, I'm eventually going to see something from the Pittsburgh Card Show. And that, like, for me, like somebody who's super busy, that reminds me that you guys have a show coming up, and it gets me excited. So I think that's awesome. Question from Bill here. He wants to know, will there be any food trucks at this show?
This show, there will not be, because there's 2 new restaurants that opened up in the mall. So there's a real good place called Pop and Rory's. They've got burgers, chicken sandwiches, pizza, ice cream. They opened up right after our October show. And it's a really good place. I've eaten there several times. And there's another place called Worldwide Eats. They've got tacos, gyros, all kind of really good stuff. So they will be there as well. So since the venue's been bringing in new eateries, the pretzel place is still there, and they make sandwiches. They give out coupons. They love when the Pittsburgh Card Show's at the Washington Crown Center. So there were not a lot of eateries there last year, but they've done a nice job building more eateries, and they're working on even adding more as the year goes on. Plus, with the weather, I don't know if a food truck outside is going to do well this time of year. It could be cold, it could be rainy, although the forecast is looking good. High 40s, low 50s, and pretty clear. So it's looking like it's going to shape up to be a really nice weekend.
That's awesome. Do you guys foresee a day where the Crown Center is going to be too small for you?
Yes. It won't be in 2024, but there's definitely, obviously, if we keep working the way we're working and the show keeps building, at some point you're going to outgrow every location. So, that's why you got to keep looking and seeing what's out there, looking for bigger locations. And again, that's part of the goal, right? To make it bigger and better always.
For sure.
We'll still always run Washington Crown Center. That's our home base. So even if that's a smaller 300-400 table show, we can always do a bigger one somewhere else.
Yeah, I just, we're always out there looking at different venues, and, bigger and larger venues, and some smaller venues as well. We have a show coming up on March 24th at the Castle Shannon Fire Hall as well. We ran one there in December. It was a lot of fun, a lot of great turnout, and we appreciate that. But, as always, we appreciate Civil and her whole entire staff at the Washington Crown Center. Could not find nicer bunch of people to work with. And I really do mean that these people are incredible, and they treat us like family, and we treat them like family. And, awesome. It's a great working relationship, and that will always be, quote unquote, our home base.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm sure that like is half the battle right there. Just having a good location with like, a good, I guess, like I guess you guys would be the tenant, but you know what I mean? Like a good working relationship with who's in charge of the building and stuff like that. So that's awesome. And it seems like they really get a boost in business when you guys are around. So it's like good all the way around. You know what I mean? Like you're almost like building the economy of that mall, which is kind
One
of
of
cool.
the stores in that mall, Anthony and Michael, is the Iron Blast Game Zone. And they had about a 3,000 square foot store when we started doing the shows last year. And in October, they moved into an 11,000 square foot unit in the mall. And now it's one of the largest gaming stores in the country. So in the back of the store, they have the pinball machines and the arcade game, the old vintage arcade games, where $10 you play all day. But I mean, they've got video games, all the gaming stuff, tons of plush. It's an amazing store. And I think a lot of that has been built from a lot of the events that come into the Washington Crown Center that have helped make that move. But you talk about a draw for the show. I mean, the kids can go in there and play all day. You know, dad and grandpa, and everybody can walk the show. The kids can play all day in the arcades. So they've got a great place. Just another addition to where when you come into the Washington Crown Center, that's another place you got to check out. It really is awesome.
And if you get bored, you go to the gun store.
They got a big train store in there too.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
Yeah, I just want to add to, for everyone coming to the show, there's plenty of parking at the show. There's 5 different lots at the show. When you come up into the main mall, that probably will be filled early. Keep on driving around the mall. There's 4 big main entrances to the show. Drive around. There will be parking. Well, at one point, parking does get a little interesting because of the amount of people that are there. But there's a ton of parking available at the facility. Drive around. There's more parking lots than just the front couple lots. So please go around the back. In the sides, there's multiple entrances to the show. And, come on out, have a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Is there anything we haven't touched on yet on the show, like any news for this specific show that's coming up?
Well, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. We do have Coco Beware coming in, WWE Hall of Famer. He'll be there Saturday from 10 to 2, signing autographs and taking photo ops. So awesome. It'll be fun to see him. Always good to see an old wrestling legend. So we've got him Saturday 10 to 2. Once again, the door prizes that we're giving away, and there are a ton. You can sign up for free at the Card Show kiosk, which is located right in the middle of the – you can't miss it. It's right in the middle of the show. Sign up for free when you're there. We'll be doing the drawings at noon, 1, 2, and 3. The prizes will be out on display. You'll see what we're giving away both days. But we will be giving a ton away. Again, the admission's free, the parking's free, and there are dealers there buying and selling everything, low-end, high-end, slabs, vintage, sealed product. If there's stuff you're looking to sell or trade, bring it with you. If you're looking to buy, come on in ready to go because you'll find it there. And I have been told by a little birdie in my ear, I should mention, if you are into Pokemon, we have about 30 different dealers and vendors that have Pokemon. Old sealed product, new sealed product, graded singles, old vintage singles, all the newest stuff, the box sets. There is a ton of Pokemon. And there's other gaming as well. You'll see some Yu-Gi-Oh!, some Magic the Gathering, Disney Larkana, which has gotten very popular. Guy on the couch will be set up at the show, so he'll be bringing some Disney Larkana. But if your Pokemon is huge now, and I would say this is probably one of the bigger shows for Pokemon because of the amount of dealers and vendors that we have at the show.
Rise and Grind, good to see you. He says, I think the recession will really affect all collectors market, though. Just listening and listening, do you all think the card market will take a big hit? I think the market's, personally, in my opinion, I think it's already taken a big hit. I don't know that it's going to continue to take like massive hits like we've seen over the last few years, but I mean, everything was massively inflated throughout the pandemic too. So it's like we were seeing like Tyler Hero base cards going for like outrageous prices that like LeBron James rookie cards are selling for today. You know what I mean? So like when things are that crazy, they can't really maintain. But
I think the local not that this is it's not a small show, but I think when you bring in more local people, when you're not dealing in museum type cards and everything, I think those are the cards that are taking, the biggest, hits and stuff like that. And I think, a lot of the other ones where, I mean, I hate to say the normal collector, but you know what I mean? Like, the not the guy who's walking around, with the Zion case that has $200,000 worth of cards in it, but the guy who has, a smaller case and has a few hundred.
The blue collar collector.
Right. Those are going to go ahead, and I think the guys like us, we're going to be around, and it's going to affect us, but it's not going to affect us as much as a guy who drops 50 grand on a card and then turns around and 5 months later it's worth 25. That's a hard hit to hit. If I buy a $50 card and 10 weeks from now it's $40, I'm like, that ain't bad. I'm okay.
I don't like calling it a big hit. I call it a market correction. Because, Anthony, as you stated, I mean, so many prices got out of hand. I give you an example. When 2019-2020 Prism basketball came out, Zion was in there, Morant was in there. I was selling those hobby boxes at $350. And that was up from the year before, which had, the Doncic, and the year before Trae Young, and the year before that Tatum. Yeah. So there was, Prism was $200, then went to $250, then went to $350, and then a year later it's $1,500 a box.
Yeah,
that's just not sustainable. It doesn't even make any sense. And I think that happened with a lot of cards. I think that happened with a lot of slabs. So it's more of a market correction. You can't have stuff going up 10 times if the guy didn't do anything. I love Michael Jordan. I don't know why his PSA 10s went from 30 grand to $500,000. That didn't make any sense. So more of a market correction. But, when you're looking at how you think this business is going, just look at what the national draws every year and the news that comes out of the national. That continues to grow. Chicago was bigger last year than the year before, which was Atlantic City. And that was bigger than the year before, which was Chicago. Like this year, it's in Cleveland. So it all kind of starts with the national. And then I'm sure some areas are better than others, but I think the market right now is as hot as it's ever been, especially if you're buying stuff at the right price.
True. Good question here by Michael Ham. Good to see you, brother. He goes, are any of you guys voting for the YouTube Hall of Fame? I thought about making a video for it. Not necessarily like for myself, but like for like other people that I feel are worthy of it. I'm not really sure what all entails in that. Like the most I really know about the YouTube Hall of Fame is like what I've seen Sports Card Dad post about it. But other than that, I'm not super familiar with it, but I thought about making like a video with some of the guys that have been meaningful to my journey through the hobby. You know what I mean? So I may do that. But thanks for the question, man. If you have any details of how to officially do that, that'd be awesome too. Unless any of you guys know that. Will Greer, I think you might have taken a hit on him. I think Will Greer is doing about as good as my Chase Claypool investments right about I think if you invested in him as a model, you're doing better than him as a football player right now. Let's see. He says, because I think cards are super limited as long as they keep the one of ones and stuff should be good in my eyes. Yeah, I think depending on what players too, for example, like I have a one of one of Anderson Varejao that I got for $30. You know what I mean? Like one of like the great Cavaliers of all time, but in the grand scheme of things, like at this point of his career, no one really cares about him. But if it's like a one of like, say, Tom Brady or, like a LeBron James, then like, absolutely. I think that's going to definitely hold value. The problem is like, once these guys are no longer in the spotlight, there's just the demand for them. Like the supply remains, but the demand diminishes like rapidly as far as what people are willing to pay for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Bryce is right. I think you're talking about from a standpoint of, market correction is more of where it was. Like he said, things went up higher, for no, like you said, there was no real reason why. It wasn't like all of a sudden there was a shortage. It wasn't like all of a sudden, like you used you used the Michael Jordan. It's not like all of a sudden there were, just to make a point, there were 1,000 PSA 10s out there, but all of a sudden, 900 of them went ahead and got destroyed. There was only 100 left. Like there was still 1,000 of them out there, and why did they go that high? So you're right. Some things made zero sense. Like you can understand, wax per se, right? Because with all the stuff that went on, deliveries couldn't be made and plants had to get shut down. So you can kind of sort of see that stuff, popping up a little bit. But some of the other stuff made zero sense. Zero.
Oh yeah, for sure. Shout out to Freddie. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Said I want to stop in and say hi to me and the lady fella. What is going on, my man? We're doing good. Shane says that Sports Illustrated calendars are hot right now. He sold one for $80. That's awesome. I know that like anything like Sports Illustrated that has cards in it is normally pretty desirable. Like just recently, the Webb and Yama ones, like I couldn't even find them at Barnes and Nobles near me because they're just like people buying them out. Like,
Well, SI is going out of business, so there's going to be more of a demand.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of good nostalgia for SI, especially like once it's gone. You know what I mean? Because I remember like as a kid, like there'd always be like, if you sign up for like this, you'll get like 5 free subscriptions, and like I'd always be signing up for like these 5 free subscriptions just so I get the Sports Illustrated or like the WWF magazine or whatnot. So I could see people starting to like grade those eventually, and like not that they already aren't, but I mean like more seriously like they do with comics, because there's a pretty decent collector market for that type of stuff. I think been on YouTube making content for a year. You're allowed to vote. To vote, you just make a video and tag the guy running the YouTube Hall of Fame. Nice. I can very well do that. Lady fellow, remind me. Okay. Got a YouTube Hall of Fame video.
Okay.
Yeah. Get enough people to vote for you, you're in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll definitely make a video. Because there's definitely some people out there that definitely deserve it. But yeah, I just don't, like I said, know a whole lot about it. Oh, nice swimsuit calendars. Yeah, those are definitely going to be popular.
I'll throw out my nominee, Eric Jabs Brothers. The guy is relentless. Every day he's content. Every single day. It's unbelievable. Guys like that, they're great for the hobby. You get the preview boxes. You get to interact. It's just amazing, what the guy does for the hobby and everything as well. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's also, a fact of is that, you don't have to like every single person on YouTube also. This is not one of those things where you got to enjoy every single one. It's like you go to a show, and if you have a bad experience with a vendor, you don't have to swing by his table anymore when you go there. You go to the next guy and spend your money someplace else, from that standpoint. So, I mean, that's, the one good thing. Find something you like and don't worry about it. Go from there. Yeah, Reese Hoskins, 2 years for the Brouhahas.
Yeah, it's good money.
I saw that last comment. How do you guys feel about, obviously you're wrestling fans. You like that two-hand touch wrestling that WWE does, not the real wrestling that AEW does. But what do you think of WWE going to Netflix, streaming only for Raw?
I don't get it. I mean, I guess I know they got $5 billion, but I mean, I'm assuming there's something else. I mean, I guess, Netflix, maybe they don't care. And Netflix was like, hey, we'll give it a shot. And Netflix figures they can go ahead and they'll get a lot of people, a lot of wrestling fans to sign up for it. I don't.
Well, Netflix said they're going to raise their prices. They started out at $11.99. I believe they're at $14.99, and they said over the years, just because of the content and everything, they're going to have to raise their prices. So it'll be interesting to see who is going to, because USA was free, Fox was free. That's part of the cable package.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see if how what kind of viewership hit they take, because that is something big. I mean, it's really going behind for lack of better words, going behind a paywall. I mean, there are a lot of people who are going to be pissed off about it and be like, hey, screw you. Now, SmackDown is still going to be, on USA, so you'll at least have that. But if they're going to give you $5 billion for Raw, even if they only gave you $2 billion for SmackDown, why wouldn't you go? I mean, from that standpoint.
I guess maybe they wanted to still have something free. I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
And NXT, I think, is going to CW, if I'm not mistaken. So even NXT got some money too. So, I know the UFC stock. That stock went up a little bit today with that new deal.
Heck yeah!
Oh, I'm sure it did. Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah!
Any winners for the Royal Rumble on Saturday, guys?
Hulk Hogan. Is he still there?
He is.
It's been a while since I've watched that two-hand touch wrestling.
He has gone ahead and he has signed a Legends contract.
They have a lot of the older guys there. That's smart. Keep the money coming in for him.
Yep. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting from a men's Royal Rumble perspective, with Seth Rollins screwing up his knee. That changed a lot of things because people thought CM Punk was going to win. Then Punk would challenge Seth Rollins WrestleMania. Now,
you, baby.
I'm in on that one.
Hey, I want to thank all the guys watching this because the comments have been outstanding. Just spot on. Fantastic. Love
Absolutely.
it. We have a good group that follows us each week.
Dude, yeah, the guys in the comments, or guys and gals, I should say, in the comments, are just amazing every week. You guys keep the show flowing. Shane, I'm like hooked on watching this Power Slap stuff on like Instagram. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but it's literally like these two guys. They come up to this like stand. It looks like almost like something that you do like an arm wrestling thing on, and then they just slap the hell out of each other as hard as they can. And then like normally one guy like crumbles to the ground, and like people try to like catch him as he's like seizing. It's amazing. It's like the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's what I should have done with my life, really.
Yeah, sure. Have some bicuspids get loose by taking a shot to the chops however often they're allowed to.
Yeah, technically, in a different way.
Yeah. Hey, just want to remind everyone as well, guys, at the show, we are also having the banner sale. There's a separate room that'll have all the Penguin banners, all of the Steeler banners from the championship banners as well. Those will all be available at the show as well. So Penguin and Steeler fans, you'll have a blast with these banners. They're one of a kinds. Those are the banners that were hung up around the city, at the arena, that type of deal during that time era. So the banner sale will be at the show as well. And just want to encourage everyone to come on out, have a great time. Free parking, free admission, $10,000 in giveaways, golden tickets, you name it.
Lemieux rookies.
That's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat it. If you're in the area and you're in the cards and you don't go, I don't know what else better you have going on that weekend. It is the open weekend from football season. So it's not like, I can't believe you're going to stay home and watch the Pro Bowl. It's crap.
Does anybody actually watch that seriously, like, and pay it any mind? Like, if like sometimes if I'm home and like I'm listing cards, I'll put it on for like white noise. And that's if like no one's streaming anything interesting. It's just like what have they turned it into? It's just like not even like a real game anymore.
Flag football and skills competition.
Yeah.
That's it.
I got $20 on the AFC.
So you're invested.
Why not?
You might as well at this point.
Yep.
The skills is kind of cool, like to see him do the different things or whatnot. I'll definitely give you that. But yeah, I mean, it seems like they don't like even really care who wins the game or put very much effort into the actual game, which kind of sucks for me. You know,
like an NBA All-Star game.
Pretty much.
You know. Well, very good, man.
Yeah. So I guess before we start to wrap up, anything else you guys wanted to share or promote?
Just to thank you to having us on. Always appreciate that. And Anthony and Michael, what you guys do on YouTube and for the hobby and everything, you know, as a collector and a dealer and someone in the business, thank you for that. You know, you guys are at it every week, all the time, you know, see it all the shows. So, you know, thanks for everything you guys do. We will be set up this weekend at Westmoreland Mall. So if you're anywhere near the Greensburg, Pennsylvania area, Pittsburgh area, come on out to the mall, say hi. We will have flyers everywhere for our show, February 3rd and 4th. So we don't want anybody to miss it. You know, one little secret, you know, Mark and I, we talk a lot. You know, Anthony, you said that you see it everywhere, and that's our job. That's promoting, marketing. That's our job. But Mark and I will never rest because this weekend, we'll be at Westmoreland Mall, and somebody's going to walk by, and we're going to talk to them, and they're going to say, "Oh, we didn't know you did a show at Washington Crown Center."
Mm-hmm.
And that I'll let Mark know that, and the next thing you know, we're back at it on the phone, on the laptop, okay? Because one person told us they had no idea we ran a show, so now we have to work 50 hours, okay, to make sure everyone knows about the show. So if you want to know what the secret is, there's two guys here that love what they do, enjoy it, want to see the growth of the hobby and the business, and work realistically 17, 18 hours a day, every single day at what we do. That's the secret right there.
Yeah.
Definitely. It 100% shows, you know what I mean? The passion and the hard work 100% shows in the product and, you know, just in knowing you two guys. You guys are the real deal. Steve wants us to talk about some KD cards. I'm sure you probably have been picking up some nice ones. I'm definitely going to be swinging by your booth at the next show to see them. But yeah, if anybody's local, like Bryce said, make sure you come out to the show this weekend and support all the local Pittsburgh vendors there as well. I'm sure you guys will have some nice stuff at your booths. And like Michael said, Culture Collision also in the Atlanta area this weekend as well.
Yep.
So if anyone's in that area, make sure you go and support that local show as well.
And just one other thing and they're going to do the trade night at New Cards HQ, Jeff's new store.
I did hear that.
Yeah, they're going to have trade night Saturday night there, but I can't go. I can't go because it's Royal Rumble. I got more important things to do.
If we weren't going to be in LA for Lady Fellow's birthday, I literally was going to try to come in for Culture Collision again and try to see the grand opening of the Cards HQ store. It seems like it's going to be pretty awesome as far as like the whole 24/7 aspect of the card shop or whatnot. And just like with like Sports Card Investor behind it, like if nothing else, it's going to probably be extravagant and like very polished. So I'm excited to kind of see that in person at some point. You know, living in LA for a year, it was like it's kind of spoiled me having Burbank. So like getting to go and see a card or a card shop of like that magnitude is going to be kind of cool, especially over here on the East Coast. And
I'll try and talk to Jeff over the weekend, see if he'll let me come and film in there.
Nice. You should see if we can do like a podcast in there. Like he's building like a studio for like his you know, cards on the table and like his podcast and stuff. You should see if we could do like a live podcast there one time. That'd be awesome.
I'll ask him. You know me. I'll talk to anybody about that kind of stuff.
For sure. I do remember the Sean Taylor hit. That was pretty awesome.
Sean Taylor cards still sell to this day, especially shows down in Maryland, Virginia, DC. He's still incredibly popular.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Just one more thing, too, guys. If there's anyone out there listening, sees the video and hears it, and you want to find out more information about our show, super simple, www.pittsburghcardshow.com. We give you all the upcoming shows that we have going on. We give you all of the upcoming shows in and around the area. Just click on the upcoming shows and signings calendar. If you are a dealer or a vendor and you haven't been to our show yet, you can sign up for our shows right on the website, pittsburghcardshow.com. We have shows coming up not only February 3rd and 4th, but we've got another 2-dayer coming up in May on May 4th and 5th. We also have August 17th and 18th coming up. And we're going to try and sneak in one more at the end of the year, too, that we're waiting on a confirmation date. So we're looking to run 4 there at Washington Crown Center this year. And, again, trying to make each one bigger and better. So, but PittsburghCardShow.com, it's a great website. We have our sponsors on there. We have a lot of dealer spotlights on there, a lot of pictures from the show, pictures from some of the giveaways, some of the YouTube videos that are out there that have run videos from the show are on there. And again, it's not just our shows, but we try and have all of the local shows in and around the area, the Pittsburgh area, up there as well. PittsburghCardShow.com.
Yep. And you guys do a great job of that. Michael, is there anything coming up on Huddle Card this week that you wanted people to know about that we didn't touch in the beginning of the show?
No, I should be live tomorrow night. Then, I don't know. I'll see if I don't know if I can get in, if I can do live on, whatever day Mike and I go, maybe I'll try and pop on live from Culture Collision. But working on a couple things for next week. Trying to get. I'm talking to somebody right now about another guest. Don't want to say anything until I got that confirmed. Well, the only I will say is guys, you're always welcome here, and pick a Wednesday in April to go ahead and come back on and help promote that show. The May show. Yeah,
you guys are always welcome. Anytime you want to come on either one of our channels for the podcast. We love hearing what you guys are doing and love seeing how the show develops. From the very beginning, it's been really fun to watch. And guys, make sure if you're watching this, check out www.getsteveLT@kdcards.com. You should actually get that, Steve, and see if you actually get people to donate you LT and KD cards.
Knowing Steve, he might already have it. My God.
Yeah.
Which LT?
Sure. He's a big Tomlinson fan.
Oh, so the second one.
Yes. Correct. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys watching tonight. Yes. Do us a favor, leave a comment down below after this goes off air. Smash a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already to me or to Michael over at Huddle Card Collection, please do so. We'd appreciate that. And again, make sure you come out to the Pittsburgh Card Show February 3rd and 4th. It's going to be a wonderful time. Coco Beware is going to be there. So you should be there too, in my opinion.
Register for them door prizes at the card show kiosk.
Yeah, make sure you guys register. $10,000.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks again.